here we sit. Not quite a full week since I was nuked from orbit, not once, but twice in 24 hours. The general gist of all of this has been for me to realize just what I lost by way of associations and affiliations and friendships and be always there for me because I just could pop onto Facebook and reach out to anyone that I wanted to. And now I'm regretting not having all of the contact information for everyone. So, hey Sean, thanks for stopping in. So I'm gonna use this video to talk about a couple of things. First, if you want to find me, the best place for you to find me right now is on Twitter, at Robe Regiment, the at symbol, Robe, R-O-B-E, Regiment, R-E-G-I-M-E-N-T. That's going to be the quickest place. Then you can find me on Getter, TC_MNBRR_Pearson on Getter. Sounds like it's a pretty safe platform, so I'm there. I am working still on trying to figure out how I'm going to make a TikTok work for my content. I am on Telegram. You can find me there. Pretty easy to find on Telegram. So sorry, I got messages coming in. So when I'm on TikTok, I'll let everybody know that I'm going to have to become a master of doing long form and short form stuff. But the other place, did I say that? Yeah, the other place is tcpearson@protonmail.com. I'm looking for people who can help me contact people from Facebook, help me find people on Facebook, help me find people for my show on Monday nights until I can figure out a way to get back into the Facebook world and reach out to some of the people that I was in communication with. So I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love for you to send my contact information and my accounts and other areas out into metaverse, if you will, on Facebook, so that people know that I'm still out here. And I didn't block a bunch of people. I've gotten a bunch of messages in different forms asking me here on YouTube and other places, why'd you block me on Facebook? Why'd you block me on Facebook? What happened? I didn't block anybody. Well, I have blocked people on Facebook, but I haven't blocked anyone that I want to stay in contact with. And if you can't find me, it's because they blocked me. They completely destroyed that account. And I would love to stay in touch. The reality of what we're dealing with right now is kind of what I said about being nuked from orbit in the past, and that's we are dealing with the very definition of fascism here in the United States. We're seeing it play out in a multitude of ways. I am getting reports that many people did have their accounts completely disintegrated, gone. TikTok is starting to crack down on certain people and certain types of information, which is to be expected. But Twitter is allegedly opening up, and they're going to allegedly be allowing these banned people back in. So maybe Twitter is going to be the place where people who aren't ready to go to Getter, people who aren't ready to go to True Social, and other places might look at going back to Twitter. You don't get the long form on Twitter that you get with Facebook. It's communication is a little different there, but you know, if they're going to go away from censoring people left and right, then but Twitter was for a long time the fascist arm of, or the enforcement arm of the fascist regime. That, I mean, they literally took direct orders from the CDC in taking down, I'm not going to say his name, but taking down a particular individual who took them to court and won. Well, I'm tired. But he turned on Alex Jones and said that Alex Jones got what he deserved. Now, I don't care who you are, a $1 billion judgment against an individual for speaking even their unpopular opinion about something like Sandy Hook or Marjorie Stoneman Douglas or anything else. That is a terrible danger. In fact, it's even more dangerous than the ability of a company like Facebook to nuke you and take away your content, take away your memories, take away all of those things that you've established, these relationships, whether you want to call it the real world or not. The danger in what was done to Alex Jones is precedent setting in the independent media, independent journalism, independent reporting, independent commentary types. That was the message that was being sent through the assault on Alex Jones. And people will say, well, you know, he told lies. Did he? Did Alex Jones tell lies? Because what they used on Alex Jones was the storyline that he advocated for violence being done, which he never did. And he was literally, check out Tom Woods' commentary on this. Can't remember. Barnes, I think it's Richard Barnes, is the attorney that he interviewed here a couple weeks ago now. And the reality of what was done to Alex Jones was lawfare, kind of like warfare, but it's lawfare. And they used the courts against Alex Jones. He was told he could not make a defense. Literally, you cannot offer any evidence that proves you didn't do X, Y, or Z. There again, I'll try and find the link to the Tom Woods show where it talks about this. But this is a legal expert who goes through and breaks this down. Now, if they're going to come after a guy like Alex Jones for multi-billion dollars in damages, one of the people who received damages was an FBI agent who got a $90 million judgment in his favor from Alex Jones. Now, is he ever going to get that $90 million? We know he's not. He's not going to get that $90 million, and the lawyers aren't. Alex Jones is going to find a way to get around this. He may end up, being threatened with prison time for finding a way around it, but he's going to end up finding a way around this. But an FBI who do commentary, who offer their opinion on situations, are going to feel secure in their ability to speak their mind on a topic of what they deem to be of great importance. So let's say you look at the events that took place in Washington, D.C. in January of 2021, and you say, look, there were some bad things that happened there, but overall, it could have been, comparatively, it could have been much worse. You go back to other, literal attempts to get into the White House while Trump was president. You look at the Black Lives Matter riots and the attacks by Antifa on federal buildings in places like Portland, Oregon, and others. Like, what happened on January 6th could have been much worse. You say these things and say that, and then turn around and say that ultimately X, Y, and Z wasn't all that bad, and X, Y, and Z people weren't actually hurt by any of this. They can turn around and sue you based on this judgment against Jones. Who has that ability to fight that? I mean, Alex Jones barely had the ability to fight that, and he's got millions of more dollars than most other people. What they can't win through the ballot box, what they can't win through forcing it down your throat through left-wing legislation, they're going to find a way to beat you up in the courts. And this is why I talk so much about the criminal justice system. And the criminal justice system is not just the cops on the streets. The criminal justice system starts with the cops on the streets and goes all the way through the entire process. It goes all the way through the courts. It goes all the way through sentencing and through prosecution and even defense. And it goes all the way through ultimately to the prison system. And it even goes all the way through to some degree, whether it's a civil act or not. They will say things like, well, this is just a civil judgment. This isn't, we're not making anything illegal here. But, you know, if a jury finds or if the courts rule in this civil case, they want people to be afraid to speak their minds, to call out bad behavior when they see it, because they're afraid that if they do, the person who they're calling out for their bad behavior may turn around and sue them. And that's why what we saw with the Alex Jones situation in the Sandy Hook case, these parents went after Alex Jones for these massive damages, how they were hurt by this. Kanye West is being sued by George Floyd's daughter for $250 million after Kanye gave millions of dollars to this family, to this girl and her family, for her college fund, because Kanye simply came out and made a statement that said George Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose. Now, whether or not you agree with Kanye, he's read these reports. He's making a statement of opinion, his belief in this situation. And the people who he donated money to are now turning around and suing him for $250 million. There's a couple of reasons why. It's a cash out. Kanye's worth billions. The other part of it, who's going to challenge them, right? Kanye could fight this, but who wants to be in that fight against these people? In that they've been victimized by a system. You know, George Floyd wasn't by Derek Chauvin. I believe that Chauvin failed to do his best to save George Floyd's life, and as such, he should pay the consequences. And the three officers that were there should also pay the consequences for not intervening. But who wants to fight this family? Who really wants to fight them? And that's what they're gearing up to. New York Times versus Sullivan was a case 50 some years ago. And in this case, this police chief, I cannot remember the name of the city, it was down south, the southern police chief sued the New York Times for defamation. And the Supreme Court eventually came out and ruled in favor of the New York Times, saying you had to prove actual malice in the comments to actually do you harm. And because you are a public servant, the bar for actual malice is higher. And you, Mr. Police Chief, lose. You do not get to shut down the New York Times. You do not get to sue them for defamation. You don't get to sue them for slander, libel, whatever the case might be, because you cannot prove there was actual malice on their part. They were simply running an ad. They were running a story. They were doing an editorial, whatever the case might be. And that, in particular, is where we really need to be. Now, granted, Alex Jones is a public figure, but he's not a public servant. So maybe he doesn't have the expectation of that public transparency that others would have. But the fact that people can sue you for an arbitrary amount of damages, and how do you prove the damages? How do you prove that what Alex Jones did is worth billions of dollars in damages? Billions in damages. How do you prove that? You can't prove that. You can't. There's no way to prove that. There's no way to prove that what Alex Jones was in any way, shape, or form dangerous to anyone at all. And some of you may not agree with this, and you're wondering, how does this tie into you being nuked? Well, this is why. Alex Jones didn't shut up when he got nuked from platforms. He didn't shut up. He didn't stop. They tried over and over and over again to silence him. And he said, all right, fine, I'll just go have my own. That wasn't good enough for him. They had to take him down. They'll shut you down on Facebook. They'll shut you down on Twitter. They'll shut you down on TikTok. They'll shut you down on Instagram. They'll shut you down in a lot of places. And all these other platforms will spring up and they'll say, oh, we're about free speech. We're about, we're true social. We're here to tell the truth on social media, and on and on and on and on and on. But they'll all capitulate eventually. They'll all capitulate, or they'll exact their own form of censorship. And most of the tech companies, the social media tech companies, YouTube and others, they toe a particular line. And most of the time, that's a state delineated line of reasoning, state delineated line of acceptable thought, which is why certain videos on YouTube are still being restricted. Certain types of topics you cannot talk about on YouTube, no matter what your position is on it. It doesn't matter if you're interviewing a person on this particular topic and you're just asking them their thoughts and how they arrived at those conclusions. They don't want it on there. They will not allow it because the powers that be say, no, you shall not talk about these things. And ultimately, all of these things working in conjunction, if we can't stop you, if we can't nuke you into silence by taking down your social media platforms, then we will nuke you into financial ruin by coming for you in civil courts talking about the damages that you've done. Now, if you can prove those damages have been done and that you are genuinely an innocent victim in a situation, then there is no reason why that you shouldn't have some sort of redress, right? But I think it was Rothbard, and I'm going to paraphrase, I'm going to probably get it wrong, but I think it was Rothbard that said, your reputation is not something that you own. You don't own your reputation. Your reputation is someone else's intellectual perception of who you are. In other words, it belongs to them. So if they think poorly of you and they want to tell people that they think poorly of you, then those people can form their own opinions, but it's not damaging to you per se. It doesn't hurt you in reality. What hurts is what we've been seeing, which is how cancel culture has come into this. Because that's not just an assault on your reputation, that is literally an assault on your person. Where they take these false narratives of who people are, maybe sometimes even the narratives are true, and they take these narratives, they blow them up, they use them to get you canceled off of social media platforms, and then they come at you at home and they come at you at work. And we've seen this over and over and over again. If you don't toe the line, we will find you and we will take you out. Now you tell me, who's more hurt in this world? The people who sued Alex Jones and won, or people like me and others like me, the little guys without a big voice, who not only are being taken down on social media and losing long-term accounts and losing contact with hundreds of people that they communicate with on a regular basis, and people whose careers are jeopardized and threatened by people literally defaming them and coming for them where they are. People to this day ask me, where are you working? Where are you working? Where are you working? I'm not telling you that. Well, I'm your friend. I'm still not going to tell you because I just never know where that information is going to go. If they can't cancel you, if they can't get you terminated, if they can't shut you up by taking you down off of every social media platform they can get their grubby communist hands on, they will come for you financially. And they will lie. That's chilling. So instead of looking at the Alex Jones case and laughing about it or saying, well, he got what he deserved, you should be worried about whether or not that can be used on you. Once again, you can find me on Getter. You can find me on, I'll put a comment or put these in the description. You can find me on Getter. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on TikTok pretty soon. Still have me here on YouTube and on Rumble. So check me out. Let me know what your thoughts are on this video. I know it probably seems disjointed. Just been random thoughts for the day. And I don't have a TC and Friends Monday Night Musing tonight. So look forward to hearing from you guys. Help other people that want to get in touch with me, if you will. Have them reach out to me as well. I'd love to stay in touch with everyone. And as always, my friends, fight for your freedom. It is yours. And fight for your liberty. It belongs to you. And Sic Semper Tyrannis.